Hey St. Louis, it's Angela Hochman here. Thanks so much for tuning in to STL TV, where we invite you to experience St. Louis. Now, if you know me, you know one of my favorite things to do is sit down with some inspiring local humans doing really, really good work in the community. So that is exactly who I have on today. I have got the St. Louis chapter leader of For Goodness Cakes, the lovely Clarissa Buckley. Hi, Clarissa.
Hello, Angela. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing really good.
I am so happy that you're here today. I have heard great things about the organization. However, some people might not be familiar with For Goodness Cakes.
Sure.
Enlighten.
Sure. So For Goodness Cakes is a nonprofit organization. We are actually nationwide. However, in St. Louis, we just opened about a year ago. Our mission is to bake graduation and birthday cakes for at-risk youth ages 1 through 27. So that could include children in foster care, children that are homeless, children that have faced some type of adversity and are being or receiving services by a local agency. Those are the ones that we want to bake for.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So do you have a background in baking, or how did this come to be part of your world?
So I fell into baking about 8 years ago. Actually, funny story, it was my 4-year-old, or actually we were preparing for my daughter's 4th birthday party, and I wanted a Superwoman, or what is it, Wonder Woman cake.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so I had called a lot of local bakeries and trying to get pricing, and I wanted a big cake, so you can imagine the cost. And so when I got the quotes, I said, I think I can go buy some pans and I can try to make this myself. So that's what I did. I talked to my husband and we just started making experimental cakes, and then I just fell in love with baking. So I've been baking for about 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so I gotta know, how big was this cake? Was
So
it like 3 tiers?
It wasn't 3 tiers, but it was like a 12-inch cake, and then it was an 8-inch cake. I didn't know much about sizing then, so I'm pretty sure I had too much cake for the party that we threw.
Never a problem, Clarissa.
But it was a beautiful cake, and it was one of my first cakes, and yeah, I still reflect on it to this day.
Wow. So that sort of just sort of lit off a little light bulb. You're like, ooh, I can do this. I enjoy it.
Yep.
My family likes it.
Yep.
How did you decide to make the leap into the community and really making a difference there?
So what I did was, so again, about 8 years ago, I started baking. During the years of COVID, I wanted to make more of a difference in the community. So I really started to reevaluate the things that I was involved in, the organizations that I was a part of. And I decided that I wanted to do more, not just things or be involved in things that would get me ahead in my career, but more things that would be impactful to the community. And so coupled with my love of baking, really just prayed, what can I do that would use the gifts, talents, and abilities that I currently have to benefit others. And so I started searching the web, trying to figure out for, just what would match. And I stumbled upon For Goodness Cakes. And when I first researched For Goodness Cakes, I saw that they did not have a chapter here in St. Louis. And so instead of being devastated and disappointed, I just used it as an opportunity to open a chapter. So I reached out to the heads of the organization, and it was about maybe about a 5 or 6 month process. And I got approved to open the chapter at the end of January of 2022. So here we are about, 14 months later. Yeah, and we are thriving and growing.
The chapter is here because of you.
Yes.
Single-handedly. How many volunteers do you have here in St. Louis?
So far, we have about 130 volunteers, and the number, it just grows every day. And so we are always looking for more volunteers.
Okay, let's talk about the volunteer requirements.
Yes.
Do you need to be like next level baker, like some of those pictures we saw, or?
Not at all. So what I always tell people is that you don't have to be a cake boss to come and volunteer your time or your skills with For Goodness Cakes. So you don't have to know how to make a cake from scratch. As long as you can even follow some directions on the back of a box cake mix, we would love to have you. The main requirements are that you are 18 years of age or older. And we also require a food safety training for our volunteers. So as long as there's a passing score on that, you can volunteer with us.
Is it a one-day thing? Is it a class you take online?
It's an online training, so it's self-paced, so it should typically take a person between 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer to kind of go through it all. And again, because everybody's baking in their homes, we just want to make sure that there's some standards and consistency as relates to cleanliness and those types of things.
Absolutely. Gosh, 2 hours That is nothing.
No,
I feel like
no.
orientations at places where people volunteer take usually a lot longer than that.
Yeah, sometimes days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Clarissa, talk to me. You have a big event coming up this summer. You've got it's the first annual virtual cake auction.
I know it's a mouthful, so yes.
It sure is, pun intended.
Right,
but let's talk about this. What is, and is it virtual, it's only online?
Yes, so it's a virtual auction, and we are auctioning off cakes. So we have, we're asking for donations from local bakeries, and we already have a few bakeries committed. And so these cakes could be as mind-blowing and extensive as 3D cakes, cakes that actually move. I know, right? That actually move.
Cakes move?
Yeah.
My cakes only move when they fall down.
Oh, hilarious. No. So whatever type of cake, our bakers are willing to donate to the cause, we are more than happy to accept it. And even with that, we're planning to have cakes that represent a multitude of skill levels. So again, it could be just a simple one-tier cake or maybe even cupcakes, but then yes,
you could do
those, you can do cupcakes.
Oh my gosh, sign me up. I'm not kidding. Sign me up.
We will.
I don't do cake from scratch, but I am a boss. If you give me a box of cake mix and I jazz it up, and I even use heart-shaped pans.
Look, sometimes those are the best. Sometimes those are the best.
It's
Keep
made
it simple.
with love.
Yeah, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
Right? That kids can actually feel the love, inside every bite, inside every, baked item. So not only do we bake cakes for kids, but we give them the option for cupcakes as well.
That is so incredible. Let's talk numbers. Can you even give me a ballpark for about how many cakes have come out of For Goodness Cakes and changed lives of children and young adults?
Yes, so nationwide, we are approaching, if not have recently surpassed, 18,000 cakes nationwide.
18,000 cakes.
That's 18,000 cakes that we have been able to deliver to kids that may not have had a cake otherwise and may not have felt that opportunity to be celebrated otherwise.
And isn't that really puts things in perspective? Because I feel like growing up, gosh, how fortunate are we? When it's your birthday, you get a cake.
Yes.
Not everybody is in that circumstance. And
that's so true. And some of the most heartfelt stories that we receive are from the recipients of our cakes, specifically the young adults in our alternative graduate programs.
Okay.
So I have received countless stories of when our volunteer bakers deliver their cakes, they don't want them to leave because they just want to embrace them, and they're crying and they're just so grateful.
Oh my gosh.
That somebody thought enough of them, to spend a few hours to put together this cake to honor them and celebrate them in that way. So I'm getting chills just sitting here thinking about it. And forgive me if I cry, because we need the tissues handy. But it just means a lot. It means a lot to know that you are impacting the life of a child, and that's a memory, a core memory that they're likely going to take with them for the rest of their lives.
And it's so not just about the actual cake, the tangible, edible thing. It's that feeling. You feel so special.
Yes.
When someone gives you a cake, it's just you shine in that moment.
Yes.
And that could bring me to tears as well.
Yes.
That's really beautiful. So Clarissa, I know you are volunteer based. How can people get involved if they want to donate their time, talent, treasure, you name it?
So we have a lot of different ways that people can volunteer, as we kind of stated before, the virtual cake auction that's coming up in July. If people want to donate baked goods for that, we would love to have them. If people want to volunteer their time, we are accepting volunteers. And again, they have to be 18 years of age or older and pass the food safety class. And they can really just choose, how much time they want to devote to this. And then, of course, we also accept donations.
Okay. Donations of all forms.
All forms.
Okay. Definitely check them out. forgoodnesscakes.org/St-Louis-Mo. They are on Instagram. Oh my gosh, the cakes are so gorgeous on there. I was like salivating looking at these amazing cakes. Clarissa, it has been so great to talk with you. Thanks for enlightening us on just what you do, why you do it, and how it's impacting the country. This is not just St. Louis. You're just taking the country by storm, one cake at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been so great to talk with you.
Likewise.
That is going to do it right now on STL TV. But keep it locked right here. This is where you get to experience St. Louis. Definitely check us out on social media. We have so much going on. All of our channels are awesome and action-packed. So don't miss a thing. Keep it right here. We'll see you next time.